And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph, darling. Today, we are going to tackle one of the most important things on my channel, and it has to do with politics. Is this a political channel? Abso-freaking-lutely, okay? I want you guys to understand the world. And when I say understand the woman, you'll understand the world, well, guess what? Understand the woman, and you'll understand politics. And you'll understand it to the nth degree. Guys who do not understand women will not, might have issues understanding politics, okay? So I got a comment the other day about this, about politics. And I want you guys to hear my response. Let's start with the comment, and I'll have to show you guys on the screen so that you guys can pay attention and read along. Let's see. Okay, I understand your explanation, but what you're leaving out is that not only the world, but the universe we live in is a mix of masculine and feminine energy. We can't have one without the other. This is a fact, Joseph. Let's just make sure that let's see, that everything's working. People are happy. Sound awesome. Great. Okay, let's keep going. Is everything working? Should be. Okay, we can't have one without the other. This is a fact, Joseph. To say capitalism is good because it's masculine. Let's see. Can you check if my stream is working? Let's see if this gets cut out, shall we? To say capitalism is good because it's masculine and socialism is bad because it's feminine denies the existence of the undeniable duality we live in. Interesting point, Malcolm. I will tackle this one. Yes, as a man, I'd like to be more masculine, but I'm not going to deny the existence of feminine energy, nor will I oppress the feminine. Oppression of the feminine has resulted in what we have today. Agreed, but I have to expound. Your marriage seems to work because you strive to strike the right balance between the masculine and the feminine within it. You give both the space they need to flourish, and this will continue to be a work in progress. The economic and political systems we live under are no different. We have to have balance. It's not capitalism, parentheses masculine, versus socialism, parentheses feminine. It's balance between the two. You're from Norway, which is certainly more socialist than the US, but no country in Scandinavia, let alone the rest of Europe, is purely socialist. It's about balance, my friend. My explanation is based on logic deduced from reason. Interesting. Okay, let's just read what I have to say on it. Since my channel is a political channel, I will use this opportunity to make a response on a video dedicated to this. I hope we can reason together. I don't really like making videos trash talking socialism as I lose subs because of a feminine audience. Okay? So I hope you guys are masculine today because that's what I need you guys to be. But it's needed in today's world. I'd like to have a discussion about it. We can also Skype, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure my audience would love that. He says, if you don't like making videos that trash talk socialism because you're afraid of losing subs, then how do you feel about trying to make your point without trash talking? My point was that socialist-leaning policies have a place in this world alongside capitalist-leaning policies. Thanks for your offer to discuss, and he's interested to do it at some point in time. And then I replied at the end, appreciate that, bro. I'm not afraid of losing subs. If I was, you'd only be hearing videos about semen retention for months and months and months on end, because that's what you guys want to hear. But I'd like to take the challenge. I'll talk more about the problems surrounding socialism as an ex-Norwegian. Socialism does have its place, and that's in the home. So, let's go through my thoughts when it comes to socialism, shall we? You see, I didn't actually have a very strong opinion about it until, let's see, I didn't have a strong opinion about it before I began to understand the woman. Before then, it was like, okay, I've heard that socialism can be quite bad. But now, when I understood female nature, I was like, oh my gosh. The entire world needs to understand politics, okay? Especially men, okay? So that they can actually do the right thing by men, women, and children so that the whole world can benefit. Because we're living in crazy times right now, and it's important that we all understand what's going on. So, let's look at 3 different aspects. Socialism and capitalism. Those are the 2. And yes, he's correct. Capitalism stands for masculinity. Socialism stands for femininity. Okay? It's crucial you understand this. The more you begin to look at the group of people who are talking about capitalism, who are seeking capitalism, who are promoting capitalism, you'll find out that they're very masculine people. Okay? The more masculine a man becomes, the more he begins to love capitalism. Absolutely. The more feminine a man is, and the more of a woman is, the more they'll enjoy socialism. Why is that? Why is it that 2/3 of women, of all people who are employed in Norway, work for the government, while 2/3 of men all work in the private sector? Coincidence? I think not. Okay? Let's look at this. When you look at capitalism and socialism, when it comes to how we look at human nature, socialism will literally, okay, look at human nature and say that we're evil. Human nature is evil. It's filled with greed, it's filled with negativity, it's filled with darkness, and we need to regulate it. We need to stop it. We need to make sure that we don't go overboard with this dark human nature that we all have inside us, okay? While masculinity or capitalism will actually tell you that human nature is good, okay? We're actually all good people, and because we seek our self-interest, yes, but as long as we do it with honesty and transparency and make sure that we do it in terms of serving other people, that's what capitalism is. Okay, at its core, it's serving other people. Now, people will look at, the bad things that capitalists have done over time because they could at the time. We've lived in very strange, crazy times in the past, okay? And we've evolved towards this scenario today where things have actually improved. Things are way better now than they've ever been before in the entire world. That was not as a result of socialism. That was as a result of capitalism. That massive progress has happened. And true capitalists will understand that when you serve others, then karma will come back to you and serve you back. When me, as a capitalist, when I invest in someone, which is what I do when I hire people, when I invest in something, when I pay someone for something, I'm investing in all of these people, which means that it is an exchange that is voluntary, and I'm enjoying the exchange, hopefully. That's what capitalism is building up to be. What has happened over time now, there's few and far between capitalists in the past. Most people were massive, like the vast majority of people were slaves or workers, okay? Now, the slavery aspect, we try to get away from, right? Where people work for nothing, okay? And they get, crumbs back. That's not acceptable these days. No one does that, even in capitalism. Well, yeah, but there's some people that don't pay people their fair wage or whatever. Bro, you've got options, okay? You can quit anytime and get a job anywhere, okay? Like, I literally, on this channel, I talk to people about, say, apply for jobs. When I talk to people saying that they need 3 jobs, you need to work the 80-hour work week, you need to develop a work ethic, etc., etc. I tell them to apply for 100 jobs every single day for a period of time until you've got 3 jobs. And it's only a matter of time before you actually get those 3 jobs. The thing is that capitalism allows you to do that. Socialism, in the pure sense of socialism, you'd only be working for one entity. And that would be the government, or in other words, the slave masters, the politicians, the puppeteers, okay? The people who actually decide over everyone because they've been voted into power. That's not good. That doesn't help everyone. It helps them. It helps the politicians massively. They're basically just people with strong opinions who are being paid by the public to do what they do. Ridiculous. Crazy, okay? I have strong opinions, but I would be a politician for free. I'd do it voluntarily, okay? And not even for the money aspect. Like, do you understand what I mean? Like, there are politicians who are like, man, yeah, politicians don't really have that good of salary, but man, if I become president, I can sell books forever. That's how Bill Clinton and all of those people have gotten rich, by the way, okay, is like promoting their books and doing speeches for like $1 million each. It's like they became famous because of politics. What the frick is up with that, okay? Nothing wrong with becoming famous, but there's something very wrong when you teach socialistic principles. Okay, and I haven't even gotten started about it. But the whole point that I'm trying to say about this first point is that socialism looks at human nature as being dark and dreary, and we're all evil, so we need to regulate it. Okay? While on the other side, we're all good people, and self-interest actually benefits everyone if we do it with the intent to actually serve people. Okay? In the past, people were plundering and killing in order for people to take stuff from each other. Capitalism was an amazing invention that literally allowed people to now exchange and trade with one another respectfully, truthfully, honestly. Does that happen every single time? No, obviously not. But the vast majority of transactions happening in the world today, in the sort of capitalistic system that we still have left, the majority of transactions are happening voluntarily. Thank goodness, okay? And we need to keep that for as long as possible, okay? The other aspect, the second point that I want to bring to the table is that socialism comes from the aspect of scarcity, okay? There's so few scarce resources. Oh, we don't have enough land. We don't have enough water. We don't have enough, people don't have enough. And because they don't have enough, we need to take from those that have and give it to those that don't have. Okay? Now, how is it that capitalists became rich or became capitalists in the first place? They realized that the world is abundant with resources. Not only is it abundant with the resources we already have, but it's abundant with resources that we haven't even discovered or tapped into. Okay, like the potential for us as human beings to actually understand the potential in our insane, amazing brains, okay, is wow. There is so much abundance, and I can literally grow money from my brain. If you've read Think and Grow Rich, you'll understand that what's possible, okay? And not only that book, but any personal development book will help you to understand that freedom and capitalism is where it's at, because that opens up opportunities for you. You want less opportunities, less choice, then socialism is what you want. You want more opportunity and more choice than you want capitalism. There's tons of people that get this warped and believe that socialism will create more options because, well, then I can get welfare and then I can do this instead with my time and we'd be free as a people. It doesn't work like that because there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's called Tinstaffel. There is no such thing as a free lunch, ever. Someone will always have to pay for whatever benefit or resource that is ever extracted or received by any human being, okay? Someone will always have to work for it and create it. Sometimes capitalists do it by employing other people. Now, true socialists, will look at this and say, well, you got there because of either luck or because of the workers that got you there or whatever it is. I beg to differ on that point because capitalists are leaders. They literally have to lead other people voluntarily, I might add, in this day and age, right? They have to voluntarily get people to accept the job with them, accept the payroll, and then they pay them in order for them to do work. You got to understand also that as a capitalist, your employees will do less than 50% of your effort as a business owner. And those are the best employees, okay? The worst employees will steal from you, right? So if you understand that as a capitalist, he's the one that goes in with all of the risk and could lose it all, okay? There are some instances in today's world where they can just go bankrupt and, it doesn't matter. But I'm against that system. I think that, people should go bankrupt from a perspective of, you went bankrupt, man. Why did you fail in business? What the heck? Like, you're not supposed to fail in business. Okay? And if you did fail in business, it's okay that you lost it all. And the true capitalist will realize that the fact that I can actually build myself up from scratch, no matter what, because of my thinking, because of my understanding in my mind. Because I've built one business, I can build a second business, I can build a third business, I can build a fourth business. What stops people from actually starting a business? Anyone, okay? And I'm talking mostly specifically about men here, because women sometimes, when they're extremely burdened, it's a big, big hassle to start a business, okay? To say it, as it is. And the third point, I probably have tons more points, but I just kind of want to keep it simple today. Voluntarism and force, okay? Voluntarism basically means that we, again, human nature, we're good people. If we see someone needing something, truly suffering, okay, we will either help them on the spot because we're good people. We want to help people. If you look at begging these days, is actually becoming very profitable, okay? There's some, no offense, okay? And yes, of course, there are some people who are struggling absolutely horrifically being beggars. I'm not saying that. But when you begin to see beggars who literally have cell phones and they have access to basically everything that they want, do you get what I'm saying? We keep them there, the thing is that it would be better if we, as voluntarists, focus on creating systems, not forced systems, where we force everyone to chip in so that we can help everyone, but somehow they don't get helped anyway. We live in half socialist countries, and they're still beggars. How's that possible? How are you taking 1/3 of my money, and sometimes 2/3 of my money in Norway, to actually create a welfare system where pretty much half of the people who are on welfare fall through the cracks or don't get the money that they're supposed to be getting? Where does all of that money go? You understand that in terms of extracting tax from the public, that 20% of the money that they extract is spent on administrative payments, meaning that it costs them 20% of all of the taxes that they generate. That goes to bringing those taxes in. Okay, so 20% is lost instantly in terms of effectiveness. That's crazy. What if those funds had instead been allocated to the private businesses to employ people, to create more jobs, and to create, a stronger middle class, etc., etc., etc.? What socialism does over time, every single time, is strip the middle class of any power because of inflation. If you've heard any Keynesian economics of basically, inflation is good because then you create growth and you create debt and it's perfect and wonderful, it's horrible for an economy to have a fiat economic system. Why is that? Because it's a form of tax. When the government say that they take 2% or inflation is 2% every year, what is inflation? Inflation means to expand, which means that they're expanding the money supply. If you listen to Peter Schiff on the subject, he's extremely good on it. But it's basically it's a form of taxation. So you think that all of the different taxes that you have already, like, inheritance tax, income tax, corporate tax, all of the taxes that you're paying, and the biggest corporations aren't paying anything at all because they actually know the loopholes. They're actually lobbying the politicians. They're the ones that basically are developing and growing a massive, massive monopoly, not because of capitalism, but because of socialism. There's so many people that will blame capitalism for the things the bad things that are happening in the world. And it's completely, absolutely the opposite. Now, having said that, good ideas don't require force. Okay? Good ideas don't require force, ever. So if taxation was a good idea, then why does the government have to force me to take my money? If it was a good idea and they persuaded me very well enough, then I'd be like, hey, that's a good idea. I should give 2/3 of my money because of all the blessings I'm gonna get. Here's my money. Did you see what I'm saying? Like that, why does it need force? I'll do it voluntarily if it's a good idea. Can you persuade me that it's a good idea to give away my money to the government? Then I'll do it. Okay, no one has come close to being able to explain it to me. Okay, let me take it to the next aspect. Why do I say that when you understand the woman, you'll understand the world? Well, you understand that masculinity and femininity, that's how it is. Women are attracted to masculinity, which means that they want a masculine provider and protector. That's what they want. This day and age, when women have money, okay, it's massive debt, by the way. They actually don't have money, and if they do have money, it's temporary very often. Okay, why do I say that? It's because of the debt cycle and the bubble that we're in that is about to explode. Most probably upwards, okay? For those that have assets, prices are going to go through the roof, but you're still going to become poorer, even though prices are going to go through the roof, because everyone as a whole is affected by everyone. Okay, so when a massive bubble pops, which is not because of capitalism, but because of socialism, actually taking the money off of the gold standard in 1971 with Richard Nixon taking us off the gold standard. Oh my flippin' gosh, we've created this massive bubble using worthless paper as fiat currencies. Whew. What does it have to do with women? Okay, I'm getting back to it. Okay, men, masculine. Why? Because we feel better when we're masculine. We do, okay? Practice semen retention? Great. You're becoming more masculine. 80-hour work week? Fantastic. You're becoming a capitalist. There's no socialist that wants to work 80-hour work weeks. And if he does, it's because he has some form of an agenda, or he believes that the greater good is if I work my butt off and I become powerful in a socialist, kind of environment so that I can make sure that we can create utopia. Okay? I believe in that too. I want to work hard. I want to create some form of utopia and heaven of some sort. And if you follow my channel, you understand what I'm talking about here. But I don't force people. I invite them. I try to give them some good ideas and let them govern themselves. I try to teach people and use education as a proper tool to actually help people to find out what's best for them. And guess what? What's best for them is actually best for the general public, as long as they do it in an honorable, trustworthy, and integral way. Capitalism is amazing like that when you're truly masculine. Okay? And masculinity is not to steal or take from others or being greedy or selfish to the extent of destroying other people. Because if you do that, you're feminine. Okay, masculinity is actually lift others up so that they can lift you up. The more people you serve, the more you're helped yourself. If you want to get rich, find a way to serve many people. Okay? That's how you get rich. And being rich, guess what? It actually elevates every single one that wants to be elevated. However, there's a problem there because monogamy makes it so that there's always someone that's left behind. That's a problem. In 3 in Love, as taught on the Women of High Value channel, there wouldn't be any poor among us, okay? And if there are poor among us, it's because they're in a predicament, they're old, or they're men, okay, that haven't managed to get motivation to get off their asses and actually do something, or they're literally struggling with sickness, disease, or whatever it is that might happen. That's when we come to the rescue, because no man is an island. If I see someone suffering and we've got tons of resources because there's no regulation that stops us from actually creating trades and profiting with each other, then we can actually help those people that are suffering. But in the half socialist kind of situation we're in right now, it's not my responsibility to take care of the poor anymore. It's not. It's the government. I pay 2/3 of my money to the government to take care of the poor. And they're doing a horrible job. So I got to take 2/3 of my money there. And I got to take a percentage of my after-tax dollars and help people that are sick and struggling even more. Like, what the freak? Like, where is building up something worthwhile? Where is my, allowing me to develop power so that I can actually create the world that I want to see? Okay, there's nothing wrong with that as long as I do it in a win-win situation my entire career. The thing is that politicians don't create win-win situations, and if they do, they only do it with each other or with the massive, gigantic businesses that get them reelected. That's a problem. Women. It's fantastic. Because there is a place for socialism. I'm not against it. This could have been a rant on feminism, so to speak, but I'm not against feminism to a massive, large extent either. Before you guys drop off, let me explain to you what I mean by that. Because socialism is fantastic in the home, as I mentioned earlier. What does that mean? Feminine nature is to secure, the security that you will never be left behind. That's the foundation aspect of socialism, okay? So socialism is great because we don't want anyone to be left behind. I don't want anyone to be left behind. Do you want anyone to be left behind? No, of course not. Which means that the idea of socialism, it's a nice one. Of course, we want to make sure that there's no poor among us, okay? But the way to do that is not using force because there's no good karma in force. When you actually do that voluntarily, of actually work towards creating a better world from a voluntary standpoint, we're literally creating a better world because those people that you've helped will desire to help you back. When the government helps people out, there's no person who's like, oh, thank you so much, government. You've done this so much for me and I'm going to work and serve you for the rest of my life because, you didn't backstab me and I'm going to make sure that and protect you forever because you helped me out. There's no one that does that, okay? It's ridiculous. But anyway, socialism is to be in the home, though. What does that mean? Kids. There's a reason why femininity, why the feminine brain has so much love for socialism and why they're wired for socialism, because it's about nurturing others. It's about caring for others, and it's about helping everyone survive. Okay? In the old days, kids didn't survive very often. Okay? They died at childbirth a lot. Okay? We're talking like 30, 40, sometimes 50% of the time, kids would die. Okay? What a horrible situation to be in. Capitalism made inventions. Inventions creates a better world. Socialism never invents anything because there is no incentive to do so. They're only about getting the votes of the people so that everyone can get stuff for free. But the thing is that when there's no one that's producing anything of service or of products or anything, there is nothing to spend. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, socialism is in dire need of the private sector actually producing something. But if the private sector is handicapped 70% of the time from actually creating anything, then the government's not going to have anything left. And it's going to waste the resources until there is nothing left and we return back to poverty. This is what happens every single time where there's a 200-year cycle of civilizations and societies that blossom and then they collapse. Why do they collapse? It's because of the elites, because of the politicians, every single time. And it's because of monogamy, to be honest with you. But like I said, femininity is good as long as it is within the boundaries that have been set. Okay? And when I say boundaries, there's a big boundary. But they're provided and protected by someone who is actually receiving benefits for actually providing and protecting. If you believe that the government is going to provide for you and protect you, you're being a girl. Right? If you're receiving welfare right now, you're being a girl. Stop. You have to realize that I really hope that this video is working today. Okay, it's working. Woo-hoo. So, do you understand what I'm saying? If you want to become a man, you can't be reliant on the government anymore. You literally have to go out there and actually do something. and create and serve and produce and be of service to other people. Because if you do that, you get money. When you have money, right? You've traded, you can now invest that in any person that you want to build up. And that's how a capitalist society would grow. But in the home, we want to make sure that all women are paid for, provided for, protected by their man. Why would a man do that? Why would a man provide for women and kids? Is he outside his mind? Like, why is that? We've been created in such a way that men are sexually motivated. Have you noticed? Okay, does the government provide is the government sexually motivated to provide and protect for the women and kids in the world? No, but a man would be. Very often, except for the fact that feminism and socialism actually, unfortunately, because men have allowed it to do so, it's actually men who have allowed feminism and socialism to take its massive grasp on the world, which is men's fault. But they've allowed this to happen so that feminism blossoms, socialism blossoms, which means that poverty is going to blossom and ugly women are going to appear everywhere. Why do they become ugly? Not their fault. They become ugly as a result of neglect. They become ugly as a result of not being provided for and protected by. They're burdened. They're masculine. Okay? When men are feminine and believe that they should be provided for, then women basically think about their own lives. And if he's not going to provide for me, then I've got to provide for myself. The government is not going to be there for women and children 100%. Not even 10%. Okay? And the mothers that do get protection from the government, it's really bad help that they get. And at any point in time, a politician can come in and change the law so that the woman suddenly doesn't get the benefits that she's entitled to, okay? But it also encourages women to basically live a promiscuous lifestyle. There's no, like, that's not good. Even though it's not their fault that this environment is created for them, women don't care about, kind of living on the edge because they know that they're going to be provided for. At any point, I can go on the dole. This is not a problem. I'll be provided for. I get money from the government for having a baby. I don't need a man. This is what happens in Norway. There's literally single women that say, I want a kid. I don't want a man, but I want a kid. So I'll just get someone to impregnate me or get, some. Obviously, there's a minority of women who do this, but I'm just saying, do you guys understand the picture of needing to be provided for, not wanting to be left behind, and not trusting men, not wanting to be under the control of men, and because of that, they simply want the government to take care of them. That's a bad thing for what? For families. And guess what? Society is built up by families. They're very dysfunctional right now. That's our fault, right? But it's still families. And families, parents very often, if they have a half-functioning family, they're going to try and help their kids the best they can to grow up and become well-functioning members of society. But the problem is that the more socialism and feminism is promoted, the more we're going to have the disintegration of the family, which is the opposite direction of where society needs to go. Do you see what I'm saying here? So femininity is important from the aspect of never leaving women and children behind and making sure that everyone is provided for and making sure that voluntarists, actually take care of the sick, the poor, and the needy. And guess what? They will. We always find solutions to problems in capitalism. Will it look horrible at times? Yes, it does. Does it look horrible right now with socialism kind of getting its hand everywhere? Absolutely. Do we need to stop it? Yes, we do. How do we stop it? Voluntarily, with our vote. That's it. That's the only thing you can do. And guess what? You can't choose left or right. You got to choose something that's not part of the system today, and that is libertarianism. Now, obviously, sometimes libertarianism, the way that they promote it is weird, and I have to say this because, for example, the Libertarian Party in America, they're talking about how, we're for immigration. I mean, great, yeah, I'm for immigration, but no, not if you don't fix the welfare system first. Take away the welfare system, then you can have open immigration. Do you understand what I mean? You can't have immigration while you have a warped, weird welfare system that doesn't work, right? and that other people have to pay for, and then you're basically crippling a declining government entity that's already declining in the first place, right? Do you understand what's happening with the pension bomb? Okay, like all of these pensioners, the guys that were, you know, baby boomers that were born in the 40s and 50s, they're going to retire in the next 10 to 20 years, and half of the young people don't want to work. They're getting employee benefit, like unemployed benefits from the government. And it's like, obviously I'm you know, really pouring it on and taking things to the extreme, but I want you guys to understand that this needs to be researched from your part if you're still a socialist. This needs to be researched from the part of, do you believe that humans are good, inherently good, or do you believe that they're inherently evil? Because I believe that they're inherently good, that there's solutions to any problem, and that I want to help others who are suffering. But the more the government steals money from me, the less I want to help anyone. The more I begin to become greedy and selfish and want to keep stuff for myself. That's not good. Like, if I have a massive abundance and I don't have to give 2/3 of my money to the government, which causes also, by the way, the women to work, right? 50 years ago, the government didn't have that many taxes on us. They weren't totalitarian as they are now, which meant that one man could work and actually provide for his entire family. This day and age, only because of taxes, are we in a situation now where women have to work just as much as men. And men are becoming demotivated to work because women are masculine. There's no sexual reward that excites us anymore. And of course, we've gotten access to porn as well, which doesn't help the problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? I envision a world at one point in time in the far distant future where there is no government. Why? Do I believe in anarchists or anarchy? No, I don't. But I know that at one point in time, that people will be educated enough to actually do only good. Because it's only part of ignorance. Like, people doing bad is only because of ignorance. If they knew what they were doing was bad, they wouldn't do it. Because it would be bad for everyone. Like, it would be a lose-lose. But the moment you understand that everything can be a win-win if you make it into a win-win, man, the whole world changes for you. I really wish for everyone to get an abundance mindset, that there are solutions to every problem, that people are there and will be available to those that are struggling, that are needy, and that need our help. And that it's our duty and responsibility to help them. But it makes it extremely difficult when the government takes 2/3 of our money to basically use for their own purposes in ways that the public doesn't even want. And there is no other system available. I don't like that. I want to decrease the levels of government by 95%. Okay, so that we only have 5% left during the transition, while there's still some people that are needy and desperate and don't have what they need. We need the military, the police, and the judiciary system that's just, in order for everyone to have the same opportunities, not same outcomes, okay? Because that will only create misery and death and destruction. Anything else that I wanted to add? Let's go through the comments. But seriously, it is an important topic. We should all be discussing it, and I hope that you guys are going to comment down below in the comment section. Tell me what you think about the subject, and if you disagree, I'd like to have a Zoom with you, and let's talk about it, because I love talking to people from a different perspective. And I'm not gonna, like, the reason why I'm talking so intensely now is because there is no one talking back at me. When other people talk, I listen, and I listen intently because I want to understand their perspective. There have been times where I'm thinking to myself, like, are there socialist ways? Like, is it some good in regulation that socialists, have? Is there some? And then I'm like, no. There should be no regulation other than actually producing harm and inflicting harm willfully on other people. That's bad, and that should be restricted, of course, and regulated. Absolutely. But anything else? Regulating the financial markets? No. Only if people are literally being massively dishonest. And if they're being dishonest, yeah, of course they should be put in prison. Duh, of course. Do you understand what I mean? But if you're an honest, good, upright person, you should not have 1/3 or 2/3 of your money stolen from you on a monthly frickin' basis. That's not logical. That's not reason. And yeah, but anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So let's read the titles. Is this live or is this video? It's live. We help women in crisis. Run from men in crisis. Okay. Let's see. Everyone, yeah. Okay. Great video, Joseph. Thank you, Sar. So the whole point, okay, I'm gonna very briefly, 3 minutes, I'm gonna explain to you guys how there's actually a system that can make sure that all women and children are provided for. Men, they can take care of themselves. Even men who don't have legs, who don't have arms, they can take care of themselves. They really can. Now, if they're retarded or some sort, there are some men who really struggle. Trust me, there will be people taking care of them. They're an anomaly. They're not the rule. So everyone else, okay, like we're talking 98 or 99% of the population have the ability, if they really had to, they could take care of themselves and find someone who is willing to employ them just to get a small little buck, okay, in order for them to be able to be provided for. And trust me, there would be employers that would hire them just out of pity. Like, just move these rocks over there, okay? That's all I want you to do. Do that all day. I'll pay you money for it. Trust me, everyone has a purpose and a plan in a capitalistic society, and it's good for everyone because work is the only thing that helps us evolve and progress, because that's how we learn. That's how we take away, it's through failure that we learn and grow, guys. And the thing is that socialism literally strips us from learning. It strips us from actually getting educated on the subject because we're not forced to actually do something about our situation. Allow nature to force us. We don't need nature and the government to force us to do stuff. What the freak? Okay? Yes, but I was going to explain. What is the solution? The solution is 3 in love. There is no other solution that I found out, okay? And I've been studying this for a long period of time trying to understand what is the solution that would actually help society to thrive and become what it needs to be. And trust me, monogamy is literally the root of all of this evil that you see today, including socialism, by the way, because of monogamy. Could you believe it? Can you believe that that is the reason why all these problems are happening? Okay, you might be a socialist and believing in monogamy. Well, guess what? That's a problem. Okay, so what is the solution? Well, there needs to be one man, one trustworthy man, honorable, integral, etc., who has 3 women. Take 3 women off the market. Great. What just happened? You took 3 women off the pool. 3 women now are provided for and protected by you as a man, as a masculine man who wants to give them luxury. Why? Because the more luxury you give them, the more you'll be rewarded. And that's what we as men want to be. We want to be rewarded, and we want to have kids and see our kids actually grow up and become just as successful or more successful than we ever were. That's fantastic. That's the quality of life if you manage to get to that, right? This happens in 3 in Love. And the beautiful aspect of this is that these women will not have to work because they run towards their responsibilities in the home if you run towards your responsibility as a provider and protector. If you do that as a man, you become trustworthy and integral, and you become a man of high value, as this channel teaches, you will literally notice that women are able and willing to share you if they understand the principles taught on the Women of High Value channel. Trust me, okay? They'll be begging you, please. I want to be one of the 3, okay? Why? Because you have everything. You've got abundance. And that's what women want. They want progression. They want momentum. They want to be with a high-value man. And it literally turns them on to actually have a man and their best friends be interested in their same man. Now, there's a lot of people that believe that that doesn't work, but it's because they do not understand female nature and they do not understand what is necessary for them to actually have harmony amongst each other. Okay? That's the only reason. But did you notice that now me, as a person in a capitalist society where the government doesn't take 2/3 of the money from me, I'm able to provide for these 3 women and their kids. And you don't have a lot of kids with them, by the way. 2 with each is enough. More than enough, okay? If you want to max it out to 3 per woman, okay, fine. But bro, you know what I mean? More than that, crazy. Don't do more than that. What happens with the value of women in society? Okay? What's happening out there right now? Prostitution, porn, women being played, okay? Players sleeping with women and not calling them back, okay? Ever. And not having any interest of committing to them because the justice system today is horrible anyway. So why would I even do that to myself? That's a lot of men who think like that these days, and they just hear these horror stories about marriage and divorce and being stripped of all their assets, etc., etc. So men don't want to get married anymore. What happens? Okay, so we get more OnlyFans, we get more Instagram models, and we get all of these feminine men who are disgusting, okay? And they're basically globbering and drooling after these women online. It's sick. It's disgusting. And they literally have cash. And it's debt. Okay? The moment the system collapses and the fiat dollar goes to zero, those guys are screwed. And then finally nature will actually hit them in the face, and now they actually have to do something about it. Do you understand what I mean? We're kind of at this point right now because the government is running out of money, and in many ways, maybe that's why this pandemic is happening. Who knows, right? But the point with the 3-in-love system is that you've taken 3 women off the market. All of these kids are massively being provided for. No issues with this family right here. It's taken care of. Guess what? We need more men like that who take 3 women and then take care of their kids. And we need another man like that to take 3 women and to take care of his kids. And another man, and another man, and another man. Once we have 1 billion men like that, you have 3 billion women taken care of. And their kids. That next generation is going to be flippin' amazing. Okay? Amazing. And they're going to be light years ahead of the other kids that don't have 3 mothers. That basically have to go to school and to kindergarten because their mother don't have capacity to take care of them. These 3 mothers will be stay-at-home mothers because they want to and they can. Because the man has the money to do so. Okay? He's being a proper provider and protector. And the women have access to do whatever they want, whenever they want to, as long as within loyal boundaries, right? You know, they obviously don't sleep with anyone else, but other than that, they can do whatever they want with their kids, and they can go and have fun, they can travel, and they can, go to the park, and they can literally develop talents and hobbies and tap into their feminine potential, actually enjoying life. Could you imagine a world where women en masse are enjoying their lives? And they actually, because they have energy, they ooze that energy back to you as the man of the home. And you're being rewarded for being the man of the home and giving them that lifestyle. Amazing. Do you know what's going to happen? 2/3 of men, obviously, eventually, in a perfect society, I'm trying to build utopia here as well, but I'm doing it voluntarily. I'm not forcing anyone, and we're not even forcing the women. The women want this. Okay? They will, trust me. And you know what happens to the 2/3 of men? You'd think that they, start raping people, and you'd think that they would, create a revolt or whatever. Not so. One high-value man can kick the ass of 2 other low-value men. Trust me, okay? And we'll still have the police and the military to be there until everyone is educated to the point where men are in the situation, they're backed up into a corner now, and they're like, bro, I need women into my life, and I need to develop the trust of their fathers in a 3-in-love society to make sure that I actually am allowed to have women in my life. Like, I don't want to go throughout my entire life with just porn and there's not even any prostitution anymore. Like, what am I going to do? It's just porn from like 60 years ago or whatever it is. Do you understand what I mean? Like, that's the kind of society that I want to have, where men literally are kicked in the ass, in the balls, in the head for being left behind. They're the ones that are being left behind, but they can actually use their motivation and use their testosterone, and all of the information that is available online to actually pick up their bootstraps and do what is necessary to get the next generation of women that are going to come up, right? And women obviously are not going to be sold off or anything like that. They voluntarily go into these, and at no point in time should any woman be forced to do anything that she doesn't want to do by any father, by anyone ever. okay? Completely voluntarily, and guess what? This is a good idea. And it doesn't require force, and it's beneficial for all women and children. That's what this movement is about, if you haven't understood that yet. Women and children, okay? Has nothing to do with male sexual gratification and fantasies, and no, you just have fantasies. I get a lot of women that tell me that stuff. No, we're doing it for women and kids, to make sure that they're provided for, that they have luxurious living eventually at some point in time, right? You know, you can't always expect it immediately, but you can expect that a man has a strong financial foundation. Amazing. And the man will be rewarded for it. And guess what? The men that don't have it, they'll be fired up outside their brains to start their journey towards the top as well. Let's go. Let's see. Anarchy is misinterpreted as lawlessness, chaos, and disorder. However, it means a world without masters, rulers, and oligarchs. Anarchy is more in alignment with voluntarism and libertarianism. Absolutely. If you believe in education, the proper word education, not formal education, because formal education is stupidity, okay? But proper education, where you literally begin to understand how things work, okay? The definition of that which of truth is that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. That which works is believing and trusting in people that they will do good by you, okay? Sometimes they disappoint us, okay, but they are few and far between if you actually begin to believe in people and lift them up and be okay with their failures. You failed now, but it's okay. We'll help you and we'll take you to the next level. And one step at a time, together as a community, as a world, we're going to get better, okay? But we don't need politicians to control us in order for our world to be okay, okay? And no, we don't need socialistic politicians together with capitalism, and then they'll create a nice group together and make laws for all of us. We don't need that, okay? Because we're literally putting the small guy, the small business owner, medium business owner, at a massive disadvantage because they don't have the money for the lawyers to jump through the loopholes that the big corporations have. And number two, they don't have the information that's necessary, but they might have a superior product, they might have a superior service, but they just can't compete in the marketplace because of the huge, massive corporations that are paying off the politicians, and they're basically collaborating, and it's the elites, and it continues until there's a collapse. And guess what? When there's a collapse, those rich elite people get even more freaking money. How crazy is that? Like, because the middle class is stripped and the poor don't know what's going on. And so the rich, the elites, the politicians, and the corporations, or the guys that are running the corporations, you know, the smart guys, smart money, whatever, they're the ones that take over everything. But they're still good. They just believe that their way of looking at the world is the best. They just want to retain control. But maybe their view of looking at the world from a socialistic lens isn't the best thing for the world. Maybe we just need more competition. Maybe someone needs to stand up to, you know, Google and Facebook and all those things by providing a better and stronger system that actually benefits everyone. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this video right now. But you guys are flipping awesome. And I love sharing these thoughts with you guys. And this is a political movement. Men of High Value is a political movement. I stick to that. I'm going to stick to that for the rest of my life. We're fighting for freedom. Truth, freedom, and family. Those are the three pillars of the movement. We're going to establish it. We're going to achieve it one small step at a time. And what I need you guys to do, if this relates to you, if you feel like, yes, this is what I want, begin the 80-hour workweek process. Study my channel to the nth degree and understand what the 80-hour workweek is, and practice true voluntary celibacy for a time until you're ready for the 3 in love situation. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Comment down below. I'll see you in the next one.